I'm Stephanie Anderson, the Everyday Learners Director for United Way of Utah County, and I'm excited to be with you here today. If you did not watch our Ready to Learn that we posted on Tuesday, you still have till tomorrow at 3 to watch it. It is about repetition and variation and how you can use that in your home and about how to use PBS programming in your homes. You have till tomorrow at 3 to fill out a form, and then we will send you a book. And then this week, we need you to let us know by Tuesday, make a comment or give us some kind of indication that you've watched this so that we can send you a book from today's reading, but there isn't a form that you need to fill out. We are asking if you don't have Corduroy, the book Corduroy in your home. It is a classic book and we'd love to send it to you. So let us know if you don't. Otherwise, we will give you a book that has a diversity type of topic. So I'm going to start out and we're just going to talk about diversity and how to make sure that you have books that are diverse in your home. And I remember years ago when I read to one of my children To Kill a Mockingbird. And the first thing that I said to him was, you know, when this book was written, the author, they didn't know how well the book would be accepted because she was a woman. And it was written in the 60s. And he was like, what? Why? And I just said, well, sometimes we don't appreciate people for who they are and instead of what they look like. And he was just really surprised about that. And then as we read the book and the topic, it was really hard for him to understand why people would treat others like that. And so in today's world, that's not been very many years ago, but you would think that we do as a society need to see people as they are, and everyone is an equal. And so as today, as we've talked about it in our office, we've really wanted to make sure that we are including diverse books in your home. So one of the things that I want to just start talking to the parents, and then I'll read some books to the kids, is that as you look for books, make sure that you're looking for books that are not stereotypical, that are not demeaning of people. And the characters need to be seen in everyday life. And so not just that background character that you might see, but people that are real and that are doing real things. And that's the one thing that they said in the 30s, the books that ever had children that were not Caucasian were usually atypical, and they were shown as lazy, and their dialogue was very uneducated. And so as they move past that, what we are trying to do is to be able to focus on everyone in the real light. And so I'm going to share some authors that helped us overcome that. And it wasn't until the 60s where more diverse people were shown. In 1963, and I'm just wanting to make sure, it wasn't Don Freeman, and that's who it is, Ezra Jack Keats. I get my authors mixed up a little bit. But we can celebrate him as an author by using the first character that was black. And that was A Snowy Day. And that's still a classic. Isn't that amazing? Now, Keats said that he got most of his ideas from where he lived, and that was New York. And so he took real life experiences and shared those. And Keats went on to use other characters over and over again. So A Whistle for Willie and a chair, a Peter's chair, for just different characters that showed the blacks in real life situations and what they were going through, that it showed other children and other populations that they were experiencing the same things. Not long after Keats' book came out, The Snowy Day, which I hope you have in your home because it's fun to do, to watch that little boy and do exactly what he does, is that we had the classic book of Corduroy. And Corduroy came out in 1968, and it was about a little bear. That's the main topic, is about a little bear. But the little girl, once again, was one of the first stories that showed a a little girl that was black and throughout the whole story, so the main character. Now, Lisa was actually created by the author, Don Freeman, who has lots of great books that are diverse, but he had a friend that had a little girl named Lisa, and so the character was actually created after her. And so Corduroy has a lot of other books. Lisa's not in all of them, but Lisa is the main character that helps Corduroy know what a home is and what it feels like to be loved. And so a couple of those books were really important. A Letter to Amy Takes Again by Ezra Keats. And this one was written in 1968. And so from there on, we have a lot of books that, not a lot, but we were beginning to see books that had main characters. And so as we read the books today, the one thing that I do want to talk about is, as said at the first, is to make sure that you see a variety of people. And as you talk to your kids, make sure that you're talking about how they're different. So one of the things that when I took my child development classes, that it was really talked about, and I'm glad that we had discussions like this in my child development classes, color is one of the very first things that children learn. So we start talking about color and pointing out colors. It's ways that we help children learn so many different things. And so to say that children are colorblind is not true. In fact, children are going to see even skin tones of their own race and to be able to see the differences. And they're going to talk about them. And that's okay. It's not wrong to talk about skin tone. I know that I have some of the whitest skin that anybody's ever seen. And children comment on that all the time, especially when I'm swimming or somewhere else. And that's okay to talk about that, but we need to talk about how we just look different, but we're still the same. And so finding books like that, but to say children are colorblind is not accurate. We are going to notice those differences readily. And I remember with my own children, when they saw diverse people and talking about it, and my one son wanted to touch their beautiful hair because it does look so different from his blonde, fine hair. And so as we do that, be open, be honest, be really, make sure that children are sensitive though, as we're talking about that. And don't use derogatory terms, please. Let's make sure that everyone has a place in our country. So we're gonna start with a book, and it's called I Am a Baby. And this was written by Madeline Allen, and she dedicated it to her grandson. So I Am a Baby. Very simple story, but very diverse characters. Thank you to the beautiful families and babies who were photographed for this book. I am a baby. This is my crib. This is my high chair. This is my bib. These are my diapers, and these are my clothes. These are my fingers, and those are my toes. These are my socks. This is my shoe. Where is the other one? Look, I have two. This is my doggy, and this is my cat. Here is my jacket. It matches my hat. This is my father. This is my mother. My grandma, my grandpa, my sister, my brother. Here are my toys, our blocks and our trucks. Here is my bathtub and bubbles and ducks. This is my family. All our pets too. I am their baby. Whose baby are you? So one thing we know about infants is they love to look at other infants and look at things they know, which is babies. So cute, cute book. So this book is called I Am Enough. It's by Grace Byers, a wonderful book that you can get at Scholastic right now. And it is talking about how we are enough. I am enough. For 8-year-old Grace. Like the sun, I am here to shine. Like the voice, I am here to sing. Like the bird, I am here to fly and soar high over everything. Like the tree, I'm here to grow. Like the mountains, here to stand. Like time, I am here to be and can be everything I can. Like a champ, I'm here to fight. Like the heart, I'm here to love. Like a ladder, here to climb, and like the air, to rise above. Like the wind, I'm here to push. Like a rope, I'm here to pull. Like the rain, I'm here to pour and drip and fall until I'm full. Like the moon, I'm here to dream. Like the student, here to learn. Like the water, here to swell. Like a fire, here to burn. Like the winner, I'm here to win, and if I don't, get up again. I know that I may sometimes cry, but even then, I'm here to try. I'm not meant to be like you. You're not meant to be like me. Sometimes we'll get along, and sometimes we'll disagree. I know that we don't look the same. Our skin, our eyes, our hair, our frame. But that does not dictate our worth. We both have places here on earth. And in the end, we are right here to live a life of love, not fear. To help each other when it's tough. To say together, I'm enough. So this book is a really good book of making sure that when the characters are actually shown doing everyday things, but there's diversity in it. So a really great book about not just about skin tone, but about girls. Another one that I really like that we've used in our Ready to Learn classes is called I Am Beautiful. And it talks about girls and how they're beautiful, whether they're a tomboy or whether they're like that princess, whatever they are. But what's great about that book, again, is there's lots of diversity. So one of my favorite books that I'm not going to read today is called Amazing Grace. And Amazing Grace is one of my favorite books. I get chills when I talk about it, and we have ordered it, and we will be able to give it out in a couple weeks when we are able to receive it. It is for a little older child, but it's about a little girl who has such a vivid imagination, and she has a great grandma that she lives with and her mom. And she likes to be all the different characters in plays, and she's told that she couldn't be Peter Pan because she's a girl. And so, of course, she was Peter Pan. And then she went to the ballet, and she loved it. And her dream was to be a ballerina. And unfortunately, she was told that because of her skin color, she was not able to do that. But her grandma helped her see that she could, and she was able to succeed. Great, great book. It's called Amazing Grace. So there's some really good books. We've handed out Rap-a-Tap-Tap about Bojangles and about how he was a famous tap dancer and how he gave back to his community. So as you read those books, talk about the people that have made a difference. Of course, you can find books like this, Martin Luther King Jr., that talks about how people made a difference, and then talk about how you can make a difference in your home. I think that's one of the most important things that you can do. Of course, we've got some books that are called All Are Welcome. I've Got the Rhythm is a rhythm book, but once again, just different characters that show what it looks like to live in a city. So having characters that all work together but have differences. But having the main character as not just white is really important. The last book that I'm going to read is called A Chair for My Mother, and it's by Vera B. Williams. She was awarded the Caldecott Award for this book. It has been well used, and so, but it's the only copy that I could find. And so the reason I'm reading this book is that you'll see that there's lots of diversity in this story. There's not just one. But once again, she was an author that, like many of the other authors that we've talked about, she took where she lived in her neighborhood to write her stories. And so it was really good for this story that was written, I think, in 1982, to talk about her neighborhood and how they all pulled together. And I hope that this is something that we can teach our families is how we can pull together as neighborhoods and as cities and as a country. My mother works as a waitress in the Blue Tile Diner. After school, sometimes I get to meet her there. Then her boss, Josephine, gives me jobs to do too. I wash the salt and pepper and fill the ketchups. One time I peel all the onions for onion soup. When I finish, Josephine says, "Good work, honey," and pays me. And every time I put half of my money into a jar. It takes a long time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all her change from tips out of her purse for me to count. Then we push all the coins into the jar. Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired she falls asleep while I count the money into piles. Some days she has lots of tips. Some days she only has a little. Then she looks worried. But every evening, every single shiny coin goes into a jar. Do any of you feel like that when you come home from work? We sit in the kitchen to count tips. Usually, Grandma sits with us too. While we count, she likes to hum. Often she has money in her old leather wallet for us. Whenever she gets a good bargain on tomatoes or bananas or something she buys, she puts the saving and they go into the jar. When we can't get a single cone into the jar, we are going to take all the money out and go buy a chair. Yes, a chair! A wonderful, beautiful, fat, soft armchair. We're going to get one covered in velvet with roses all over it. We're going to get the best chair in the whole wide world. That's because our old chairs burned up. There was a big fire in our other house, and all our other chairs burned. So did our sofa, and so did everything else. That wasn't such a long time ago. My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals. She had new pumps. We were walking to our house from the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips. She was saying she liked red tulips, and I said I liked yellow ones. Then we came to our block. Right outside our house stood two big fire engines. I could see lots of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood in a bunch across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where is Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida waved and shouted, "She's here, she's okay. Don't worry." Grandma was all right. Our cat was safe too, though it took a while to find her. But everything else in our whole house was spoiled. What was left of the house was turned to charcoal and ashes. We went to stay with my mother's sister Ida and Uncle Sandy. They were able to move into an apartment downstairs. We were able to move into an apartment downstairs. We painted the walls yellow, the floors were shiny, but the rooms were very empty. The first day we moved in, the neighbors brought pizza and cake and ice cream, and they brought lots of other things too. The family across the street brought a table, and 3 kitchen chairs. There was a very old man next door that gave us a bed from when his children were little. My other grandpa bought us a beautiful rug. My mother's other sister, Sally, made us red and white curtains. Mama's boss, Josephine, bought us pots and pans and silverware and dishes. My cousin brought me her own stuffed bear. Everyone clapped when my grandma made a speech. You are the kindest people, she said, and we thank you very, very much. It's lucky we're young and can start all over. That was last year, but we still have no sofa and no big chairs. When Mama comes home, her feet hurts. There's no good place for me to take a load off my feet, she says. When Grandma wants to sit back and hum and cut up potatoes, she has to get as comfortable as she can on a hard kitchen chair. So that's how come Mama bought the biggest jar she could find at the diner, and all the coins started to go into the jar. Now the jar is too heavy for me to lift down. Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. After supper, Mama and Grandma and I stood in front of the jar. Well, I would have never believed it, but I guess it's full, Mama said. My mother brought home little paper wrappers for the nickels and the dimes and the quarters, and I counted them all out and wrapped them up. On my Mother's Day off, we took all the coins to the bank. The bank exchanged them for $10 bills. Then we took a bus downstairs for our chair. We shopped through 4 furniture stores. We tried out big chairs and small chairs, high chairs and low chairs, soft chairs and harder ones. Grandma said she felt like Goldilocks and the 3 bears trying out all the chairs. Finally, we found the chair we were dreaming of, and the money in the jar was enough to pay for it. We called Aunt Ida and Uncle Sandy. They came right down in their pickup truck to drive the chair home for us. They knew we couldn't wait for it to be delivered. I tried out the chair in the back of the truck. Mama wouldn't let me sit there while we drove, but they let me sit in it while we carried up to the door. We set the chair right by the window with the red and white curtains. Grandma and Mama and I sat in it while Aunt Ida took our own picture. Now Mama sits in it and talks with people going by in the daytime. Mama sits down and watches TV and the news when she comes home from her job. After supper, I sit in it with her, and she can reach right up and turn out the light if I fall asleep in her lap. I hope that you enjoyed the books that we read today. So once again, if you just comment, if you don't have corduroy, because we'd like to send that to you, but then comment on some books that you like that include diversity. Next week, we're going to talk about some Latino books and diversity in that for the Latinos, and then the next week, books from Asian authors. So thank you for joining us. We really like coming into your homes and appreciate your comments, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.